Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. This is Coach DC from All 22 Films. We're going to look at the Ravens' fourth possession where Declan Doyle, I believe, made a tactical shift in trying to deal with the Brian Flores defensive structure that had totally annihilated Baltimore's offense through three possessions. Three and outs, 0 yards in the aggregate. I think Declan Doyle, A, went under center to safeguard some of his play calls, possibly prevent the Vikings defensive players from seeing the football when the quarterback's in the shotgun, but also may have stumbled upon a slight glitch in the Brian Flores play structure. So let's get this started here. This first play is going to involve Josh Cuevas. He's the highlighted or magnified tight end up at the top of the screen. A lot going on here from a design standpoint. We'll let it flow through the first time, and you see how wide open Josh Cuevas is into the boundary. That's Jake Golday in pursuit from the boundaries. Will linebacker, very versatile rookie inside linebacker / outside linebacker hybrid. How did Baltimore get this accomplished? So first of all, it's 12 personnel at the top of the screen, number one. Minnesota is in their nickel structure. Okay, so 4-2 inside the box. You've got a safety walked up here, another DB, probably a nickel walked up to that side. It's a one high safety look for Minnesota. So Flores has made the calculation here that the Ravens are A, not going to try to run the ball perhaps, and in fact he is right. It's a play action boot. Technically it's a fake toss play for the Ravens. So the running back is going to act like he's going to get the football to the top side. In fact, Tyler Huntley's going to reverse pivot and fake the toss action to him. The boundary ends up being so wide open for a lot of reasons. Number one, Golday goes with the toss action by the running back. In addition, the offensive line acting like they're going to run block, number one. Number two, you get this safety blitzing off the edge, and he'll kind of hesitate or settle down here. That gives Huntley enough room to get the throw off. And then finally, Jacoby Lane down into the boundary against Charles Demings, a matchup that we heard a whole lot about in the joint practice situations, is basically being run off. They know it's man down into the boundary, so Lane is running him off, and you can see Cuevas runs onto all of that space. Safety doesn't get there to Huntley. Golday hedged in this direction too far and ends up being outflanked by Cuevas, and then Demings is being run off by Jacoby Lane. Huge moment here in this game, if you ask me. Granted, it's a preseason contest, but we're talking about Declan Doyle projecting forward. Again, the first three possessions, nothing accomplished at all. 3 punts. Here you've got a 22-yard hit. Where is it? Into the boundary out of 12 personnel. Classic stuff. Under center, play action, boot, quote unquote. It's a fake toss play. In this case, it takes advantage of a hole in the Vikings defense, albeit one that was briefly presented. Second play of the drive, now that the Ravens have a little bit of breathing room. Of course, I should have mentioned earlier, Huntley is in at quarterback, and you're going to notice so much under center on this possession. I'm not saying that Doyle didn't have Huntley go under center on the first three drives, but here was definitely an obvious commitment to it. It's 12 personnel once again, and Flores doesn't choose to match with his nickel structure this time. You can see it's a base 3-4 look from the Vikings' perspective, and I think this is Golday up at the top, just an indication of how versatile he is. Very similar to Eric Wilson, the 32-year-old inside linebacker / edge defender who had an amazing 2025 for the Vikings. 6.5 sacks, like 122 tackles, I think 4 forced fumbles. But in any case, this is a run concept to the bunch side. What I really like about this one compared to the last play, even though it's unsuccessful for Baltimore, look, this guy is a badass football player. Jacob Thomas, undrafted free agent from James Madison. He's just a better football player than Jacoby Thomas at this point. He can come forward, he can tackle, he can cover. He did have an interception in week 1. I think he's probably going to get a pick 6 against us if I think it's Bo Richter, a defensive lineman, doesn't tip the football. But here's why I like this play from a Doyle standpoint, even though it's unsuccessful. We got one tight end down here, a tight end, and 2 receivers to the top. Now, so we're trying to use the 2 receivers to block strategically, and Jacoby Lane gives a good effort here out on 34, the outside corner. Tez Walker and Josh Cuevas are going to try to deal with Golday, and they just can't. Walker moves up after briefly pinning Golday inside. Cuevas just cannot control Golday at all. You can see Golday tries to separate, and then Thomas taking a great angle on the tackle. It ends up being a 1-yard gain. Nonetheless, the commitment to under center is there. So this is a really, I think, astute play call from Declan Doyle. It reminds me a lot of the Detroit Lions last year when they came to Baltimore, the win in week 3. If you recall, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, even some 2nd and 10 situations, Detroit ran the football from 12 personnel. And what did Zach Orr and our defensive staff do? We matched with our nickel on 2nd and long. That's the same trap that Brian Flores kind of falls into here, in that he's got his nickel structure on the field from a personnel standpoint, and we go 12 personnel. Now, the 2 tight ends are to the right-hand side, and Doyle, to me, seemed to be trying to avoid the nickel DB. I wonder if Doyle knew that the Flores was going to be in a nickel structure, too high safety look to be specific, and then running into the boundary would give us an opportunity to recoup some of those lost yards. Now, it's still tough sledding, don't get me wrong. It's a 6-yard gain for the veteran Jay Ward. I do want to talk about briefly what happens here with Vega and the center Gwynn. So the nose tackle for Minnesota, I think this is a tactical mistake from a Minnesota standpoint, is stunting across into the strong side A-gap. Sometimes you'll do that if you're bringing or trying to get this inside linebacker to be able to scrape over the top and change the run fits, basically, from a blocking scheme standpoint. We do a great job here, if you ask me. Gwynn and then Vega. Vega takes over that nose tackle. Gwynn moves up. You would like for Gwynn to, maybe be able to finish off. This is actually another Roberts, unrelated to another Jacob Roberts, inside linebacker, rookie number 48, who's in on the tackle. As an aside, I felt like sometimes early in the game here, you can see Vincent, if he tilts over, he's able to control people a little bit less. But in this particular instance, I think this is strategic for Vincent. He knows the run concept is coming to him, so he's just trying to bang this edge defender and widen him up a little bit to give the running back as many options as possible, as many options as possible to be able to make his cut. In this case, it doesn't go inside of that lane, but Vincent has basically gone for a home run here, if you ask me, to try to expand that guy. Really nice job, in my opinion, from Gwynn and Vega on the backside. Don't get me wrong, it was made easier by that nose tackle slanting across the center's face. So that run by Jay Ward, like I said, gained 6 yards, sets up a 3rd and 3. Again, we're on the 4th possession. I'm going to show the end zone angle here briefly, and then we'll switch to the all-22. Minnesota is presenting a mug look, if you will, both inside linebackers lined up to threaten the 2 A-gaps. Unfortunately for Minnesota, they're both going to step out and drop out into a zone. We're talking about Golday, 41, and Roberts, 48, 2 rookies. And the effect that has is it gives us a little bit of a cleaner throwing platform for Tyler Huntley. Less pressure than he had seen pretty much the whole first 3 possessions. So this is the same play, and we're going to cut it to the all-22 angle now. Lane's route, I think, is very interesting as far as this outside corner and the coverage that Minnesota plays. Again, they're dropping out the 2 inside linebackers here, illustrated by those 2 red lines. A 2 high safety structure from a personnel standpoint, and then they're rolling. So they're literally rolling. You can see a nice flat relationship between those 2 safeties, 2 high, okay? Huntley's going to end up looking at the bottom of the screen, and what I like about this from Lane's route is the design of it almost looks like, to me, he's supposed to occupy this corner briefly. Remember, we only need 3 yards, such that Wester can fit in between these 2 defenders. I'm talking about the corner here and then the second level defender there. It's not a tight window per se, to be honest with you, but when you only need 3 yards, it's a smaller window that you're comfortable dealing with from a receiver standpoint, because you recognize you only need 3 yards. I suspect that Lane was taught or told on this particular play call that if it's cover 2 and you're getting the corner jamming you, try to stay with him as much as possible. Now, I don't know who's holding who here, but it works out in our favor because Huntley hits Wester. It ends up being a gain of 5 yards. If Lane's route was more of an outside clean release and that corner just let him go, which I don't think he really wants to do because of the way this safety is getting to a half-field alignment. But if that corner had let Lane go, or there was some type of free release, it's possible that 34 would have been able to jump in here, because you can see Wester's route actually expands a little bit close to him near the top of the numbers. Really cool play, if you ask me, that worked against the particular coverage that Minnesota was showing. I'm going to kind of do the same thing here, to be honest with you, show the end zone angle so you get an idea of the look that Minnesota gave us, and there's a reason for that. So keep in mind, this is after the 3rd and 3 conversion. We're in 22 personnel, so we've got Hibner all the way to the left, Scott, a fullback, and then Cuevas motioning all the way across. You can see that Minnesota is set up in their base defensive look from a 3-4 standpoint. Everyone inside of that shaded area is either a defensive lineman, outside linebacker. Golday is a hybrid, I know. And then you got 2 inside linebackers set up. So 3-4 structure. But the difference here is you've got a corner tightly aligned and then another one here that you guys can probably not see because of the frame that I use, number 1, and number 2, Lane's body. But in any case, Flores is going to bring both of them. He brings both corners, pissed off possibly by the fact that we just got a first down. 2 first downs, in fact, on the 4th possession. So here's the same play from the all-22 angle. Cuevas has motioned across, left to right, from the offense perspective, and it's really just a sail concept. There's the double corner blitz. So what happens here conceptually is that Cuevas's route is going to get over the top of this inside linebacker, and since they vacate the corner by bringing both of them, the boundary side guy to the bottom and the field side guy to the top, there just is no one in that space. So Doyle has, you know, I don't want to say lucked out, but we're fortunate that that corner to the top side of the screen, this guy right here, doesn't end up decking Tyler Huntley from the blind side. Huntley just narrowly gets the ball off here, but someone peels back. I believe that's the running back, Tal Tolliver, I think. I might be wrong on the name there, but in any case, a really nice catch by Josh Cuevas up top. His second, obviously, of the possession. Huntley gets the ball off. Maybe Huntley was aware. That was one of the quickest drop back reads that Huntley showed in this game. The first play of this drive, you know, the fake toss, play action boot, I called it. That's a design play. That's designed. Huntley knows he's going to try to get the ball out into the flats. Here, he's actually got to read the coverage. So I wonder what Huntley knew. Keep in mind, it's under center, and so briefly he's got his back turned. And then setting up, he's got eyes to Cuevas' side. Obviously, this is designed to go to Cuevas with a clear-out concept by the number 1 receiver, Jacoby Lane. Really cool moment, if you ask me, for Cuevas. Both of our rookie tight ends, you know, have had some big moments in the first 2 weeks. Hibner, last week against the Eagles, obviously started things off with the 29 or 28-yard gain on a wheel. Cuevas here on the 4th possession waited a little while, 22 yards on the first play, and then 17 here on the sail concept. Very next snap here after that play action generates another first down. 2 play actions generate a pair of first downs, both to Josh Cuevas, and then the 3rd and 3 conversion. So here we are, 1st and 10, 12 personnel. Both tight ends are to the left. I feel like Vincent at times in this game had some pretty good recognition here. He's going to recognize that this D-tackle / defensive end is going to kind of step outside of Hibner, and so Vincent will just move up. Unfortunately, this goes down as a hold on our right tackle. Minnesota's playing some kind of game with their nose tackle / defensive tackle in the interior of our offensive line. I think Voorhees possibly grabs a hold of 97, but in any case, 98 is stepping down, almost like it's a pick on the center. 97 is unable to execute the second half of that pick, if in fact it is one, because it looks like to me Voorhees clamps down on him pretty strong right here. Great eyes and awareness, I think, by Vega, who's looking up, who's keeping his eyes up, number 1. Number 2, using his left hand to push the defensive tackle, down, back to Gwynn. In any case, there's no lane for Tal Tolliver. Like I said, I think that's who that is. There's no lane for him here, nor does he want to cut this thing back, so he bounces it, and of course it ends up in a hold, and we lose 10 yards. Now, in the lead-in, as well as hearkening back to my game reaction video Saturday, I talked about the commitment to the under-center game on this 4th possession. No better evidence for it than this snap right here. After the hold on the right tackle, we were in a 1st and 20 situation, and what does Doyle do? under center 12 personnel. Totally committed to it on this particular drive. And what it does is it elicits or earns a base defensive structure from Flores and the Vikings. Now, the difference is that Golday is out here kind of apexed to the Twins. Twins meaning there's two receivers. This is what I refer to as broken bunch. I love this formation. I think there's a lot of options here. I was anticipating a run concept here, but that's not where Doyle went. He goes play action, and then it's a really nice little variation as far as what Cuevas does. So Cuevas is crossing Golday's face. I zoom in or magnify on Golday, so you lose perspective perhaps a little bit. But Cuevas is crossing his face, so that indicates to Golday that there's a route there. So it's play action, so he's going to react accordingly. He's going to turn his back and get back into his drop. In fact, you've got another inside linebacker, Roberts, who's also got his back turned. So this is a really nice call. Set them up well. I recognize that the offensive lineman obviously can't get out ahead of things. So there's some timing here. And maybe Huntley got rid of this thing too quick. But I feel like Voorhees should be getting out of here a little bit quicker, faster than he is right now. I know I had it paused for a moment, number one. Number two, it's also fashionable to criticize Voorhees at times. It still goes down for a 9-yard gain. I just feel like we're a little bit too hesitant here from a Voorhees standpoint. Vega is hesitating as well, don't get me wrong, but Vega's already past the line of scrimmage. I feel like timing-wise, Voorhees needs to have a little bit better awareness of it. If you ask me, imagine this play, how it could work out if Voorhees is able to go at least front up Golday and give the running back, potentially a two-way go. Nonetheless, it does go down as a 9-yard gain. Really nice play call, and I want to point out again that Doyle had Huntley execute this from under center. The very next snap here, obviously Doyle has Huntley set up in the shotgun. This is one of only 2 plays on this particular drive where Huntley's in the shotgun. It's, of course, a 2nd and 11 after that 9-yard gain to Tal Tolliver on the screen. This is a little bit of a variation for Flores. It ends up being sticks, blitz zero coverage, where essentially you bring everybody and the DBs are reading the quarterback and responding or reacting to him. So it's a 2-by-2 set. I'll briefly explain this, but as Ravens fans, we've got tremendous knowledge of it, unfortunately, because of what Flores did to the Ravens offense in 2021 and that Thursday night football game down in Miami. This is a 2-by-2 set, and that's why Jacob Thomas, the rookie safety that I talked about earlier, that's why he's shifting up to the top side of the screen. This is a Z-under concept. Watch Thomas's reaction. So we're talking about this guy right here. He's not playing a man concept. If he was, he would be reacting to this route here. This DB would be reacting to that route there. These guys are generally reading the quarterback when they're playing sticks coverage. The difference here is that they're not lined up in it. It's a no-show, if you will. And what I mean is these 3 additional blitzers or add-on blitzers are walking up. This almost makes Flores' version of sticks blitz zero a little bit more dangerous. I wonder how these guys are going to do this during the year as far as the things that they're supposed to read from an interior offensive lineman standpoint. You may or may not know, for example, this player here, if he's reading the center, the way that this would work oftentimes in sticks is if the center steps away from you, then you continue on your blitz path. If the center steps to you, you step up and bluff and then drop out. And conversely, someone on the other side of the center, I think this is Golday, would be reading the same thing. So if the center stepped away from him and to this defender, then Golday would blitz. If the center stepped to Golday and away from this defender, then he would blitz. Hopefully I said that in a way that makes sense. I just wonder if this is a new manner in which Flores is going to ask his guys to execute this, how consistent their reads are going to be with the dynamic that I just described. In any case, it's a Z under to Lane. I know Lane is on the line of scrimmage. The Z is typically off. Really strong catch, and then a nice tackle from Jacob Thomas on the other side. Again, if Jacob Thomas was playing man on number 2 here, Josh Cuevas, he wouldn't be able to react. He's not playing man. He's reading the quarterback, and then he's just responding. He knows that the quarterback has got to get the throw off quickly because Minnesota is bringing 7. That one obviously sets up a 3rd and 2. Well, actually, we'll do the end zone angle for this one time. You can see the 3 players that I had spot shadowed or highlighted before. Walking up a little bit late, I was right. It was Roberts and then Golday are the two inside guys. Theoretically, they could both be reading the center. These two guys could both be reading those guards on the interior. If one of those linemen steps to you, then you peel out. If one of those linemen steps away from you, then you rush through the vacated hole. This looks like a hard-coded blitz call, however. 48 does peel out. 41 does not. And that's probably because of the way that the center steps. Gwynn, and you can see Golday annihilates the running back. I think it's McMillan, number 1. Number 2, you do get a free rush off the left-hand side. They're bringing one more than we can block, right? They're bringing 7, or they're showing a 7-man blitz. 48 peels out, probably because Gwynn steps to him, or he doesn't blitz in the same manner that Golday does here. Golday ends up decking McMillan. It doesn't matter because Huntley gets the throw off. It's a really nice tackle from Jacob Thomas, like I said. I think it's pretty much assured that he's going to make the team in Minnesota. And he's outplayed Jacoby Thomas, from all of the reports and things that I've read. All right, the last play of this drive is obviously one that's unsuccessful. This is going to be a toss concept to the bunch, to the 2 tight end side, It's a 12 personnel group. And Flores has responded in a way that says, we're not going to let you run the football here. It's a toss strong. He's gone essentially with, an outside corner and then a nickel DB and the strong safety all to this side. Nonetheless, you're going to get a run through on the back side of this. Once again, it's by Roberts, the rookie inside linebacker. Really great read by him. This is tough for Vincent to get to him. Roberts has Vincent out-leveraged, meaning the ball is going to the bottom side of our screen, the right-hand side for the Ravens offense. So out-leveraged means Roberts is closer to the point of attack horizontally. I should have drawn that line horizontally or parallel with the line of scrimmage. He's closer to the point of attack than Vincent is. That's what I mean when I say out-leveraged. It depends on where the ball is going and what your alignment is, which is essentially where your feet are. The Vikings, to me, were selling out here to stop the run on this 3rd and 2. Even though this play was unsuccessful, the one thing to recall, the first play of this drive started with the toss action and then the boot back across everyone's face by Josh Cuevas. So this type of action here. You could certainly run this to the left, to the quarterback's left, even though he's right-handed. My point is, even though some of these plays were less successful than others in this particular iteration or this particular game or day, they're all a part of the same system. In my opinion, I was happy in the moment to see Doyle commit to the under center game, whether it was running the football or going play action. In my reaction video on Saturday, I talked about it as well. I thought it was an important moment and give us an idea. One of the ways that Doyle might choose to react in an actual regular season game when our offense is being shut down and or the O-line is being overwhelmed, because that's how this thing started. Couple of things here. Certainly, we were all glad to see Loop knock that 49-yarder in, put us up 3-0. Points were difficult to come by. I think we all knew that going into preseason game number 2, especially after the joint practices where, all reports from Vikings reporters, Ravens reporters, and media indicated that the defenses pretty much had their way. You have to give credit to Minter, Weaver, and Flores for the way that they prepared for this preseason game. Second, third string guys playing extremely fast downhill when they need to against the run, getting in their pass drops and or covering when it's appropriate. I think that this drive was Doyle recognizing we're probably not going to generate big plays out of the shotgun against them for whatever reason. Pass pro had something to do with it, in my opinion. Things seemed to stabilize or settle down when he went under center here on this 4th possession. That's a different gear, a different mode, perhaps, that Doyle will be able to use even when, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are out there in the regular season. If you guys enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comment section. I do like doing possession videos where I try to break down every snap or at least the important ones on a particular drive. This one didn't involve or end in a touchdown. Field goal to go up 3-0, end up tied at 3 at the half. Carson Wentz led the Vikings down with their own response late in the quarter. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know in the comment section, like I said. And if you think other Ravens fans would like to hear, my thoughts on how Doyle shifted gears or changed his approach on the 4th drive, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media so other Ravens fans can enjoy it as well. Appreciate you guys' time.